always grateful for the time of Mike Breen. He is a pillar of professionalism. The voice of the NBA has been doing it very well at the top of the game for a long time, but clearly was biased and corrupt at the end of that Game 3, Indiana, New York.
Are you trying to say that he's overcompensating because he doesn't want to show his Knick colors?
Yes, well, let's play the audio for him and the rest of you, and I want all of you just to hear where the bang came from. I want you guys to all hear with me how surprised he was. And I'm convinced it's not just the drama of the moment. It's also Nembhard, really?
Yeah.
Really? From there, Nembhard, really? That's how we're doing this. I believe his heart was totally broken in that spot, and he was trying to conceal it. And the way that he concealed it, because this is a lovable Knicks team, and how can he not be emotional? But he tries not to be biased. He tries to be objective, and it's a human illusion. We can't be objective.
His Nembhard was broken.
Yes, that's go sit outside.
Oh, come on,
Go
man.
sit
Not
outside.
before the interview.
Go sit.
Come on.
You got Mike Breen
I have
here.
top
Get
5
over
trademark
this.
calls
You
for
can
him.
come back in 2 minutes with your trademark calls.
Oh, come on.
Go ahead and play for, and welcome Mike Breen. Go ahead and play for Mike Breen this call, and we'll see how and whether he denies the accusation because he's a liar.
Halliburton double team, shot clock at 4. Nembhard's got to put it up. Step back, his three-pointer. Bang! Nembhard knocks the 3 down. Timeout, Knicks.
It's an excellent call.
Bang!
You'd never know he was biased and corrupt there. You just wouldn't know it. You would think that he was. Mike, welcome to the program. I'm sorry for the accusation. It is nice to see you. Where does that rank in terms of most guttural bangs from you in the history of bangs?
Why would you do this to me this early in the morning? I turned on the Zoom call, and the first phrase I hear is guttural bang from you.
I mean, listen to it. You can. What happened? Why are you covering your ears? Are you like Gene Hackman couldn't watch himself act? He wouldn't watch his own movies. You can't listen to yourself call a game?
No, you get sick of hearing the screaming fool. So I've heard it already. What's the particular question, Dan? And it's nice to see you, by the way.
Where does that rank in terms of your best when it comes to really going and summoning what the moment means and reaching it with, volume and grace?
I try. I don't really rank them, but anytime one is makes a difference in a playoff game, especially that particular game, I think is up high. And what made that game so amazing, I actually felt the entire second half. You know, at the end of a great playoff game, the last 2 minutes, it's one of the most magical things in sports. A close playoff game in the last 2 minutes. That game felt like the entire second half was played under those circumstances. So for then Brunson to go hit that big shot in a game that he had struggled, and then for Nembhard to come down, and the most unlikeliest guy in a possession that was about to fall apart. It's the surprise of the moment. Those are the ones to me that, it's my love of the game fan reaction to see something like that happen in such an important game. Because if he doesn't hit that, the series is probably over. They're down 3-0. But this young man who had just missed 2 wide open ones, so many things come into play to have that, as you call it, guttural bang.
You are someone, this is a rare space that you occupy, in that I very rarely see you criticized as one of the lead play-by-play men for being biased, for picking a side. You're very clearly a fan of basketball, but you're also a fan of the Knicks and have been for a long time. So how in that moment do you actually feel, and how are you able to convey something that feels like objectivity, where you just love basketball and not that your team is getting broken? Because you have relationships on that team. You have people you care about in that organization.
Right. There's no question. And I try my very best when I put the headset on. And there's so many things that are going on that you have to do your job, not just for you, but for your partners, for everybody in the truck, to do a professional job. So you just have to, and I've done it over the years. I haven't done it a lot in recent years because the Knicks haven't been in these kind of big playoff positions in recent years. but it's just it's a matter of concentration, making sure you give that particular play the proper call that it deserves. For that young man to hit a shot like that under those circumstances, you want to make sure that you do that justice, and that's what I try to do on something like that. That one was just because it was so unexpected, just came flying out. I'm sure there are Knick fans who are annoyed with me for having such a big, excited call for an opponent to beat them in a playoff game. But that's what the job entails, and you hope everybody understands. But Dan, as you know, we all go through this. Every announcer goes through this, especially in the postseason when fans' emotions are high, and they should be high, and they should be fired up for their team, that they always think that you're rooting for the other team. It happens every single postseason. This one is just a little different because I'm the regular season announcer for the Knicks.
I think Knicks fans forgive you, Mike. I'm a big fan. I've listened to probably every game you've called this year. My boyfriend's a huge fan of yours and of the Knicks. Could you talk him off the ledge right now? Like, what is your message to Knicks fans after these last two games?
Stugotz, you're not going to believe this. Stugotz, after they lost Game 3, Stugotz, who's a Knicks fan, up 2-1, says it's over. The Pacers are going to win. I've never seen that kind of defeat from a fan.
Well, as Mike said, the Knicks should have won that Game 3. They didn't. They got blown out predictably in Game 4. And, Mike, I fear that the season is now over. I do.
Well, there's still of the next 3 games, possible 3 games, 2 of them are in an arena right now that is lifting their team up to heights every time they play, as did the Pacer fans do for the Pacers this past weekend. But it's a legitimate question because, listen, they had nothing yesterday. The first punch comes, they were always able to come back. They didn't have enough to come back. You could tell that they had nothing. They were gassed. The question is that just a one-game thing, or are they really to the breaking point in terms of physical exhaustion? Because what they've done, not just in the playoffs, but the second half of the regular season, so many minutes, so much extra responsibility, so many games where they laid it out on the line. I can't remember ever a Knick team that at the end of games looks so totally exhausted. It's been inspiring to watch how they've done it, but the question is, have they hit their limit? And we'll find out obviously tomorrow night. OG Anunoby loss really hurts. I don't think he's close to returning, certainly not in the next couple of games. That could change, who knows? But tomorrow night is going to be fascinating to find out if they have anything left in them, or have they really put it all out there to the point where they can't fight back against a really good and deeper team right now.
We have some video here to show you that is hard to explain. We have a theory around here. Perhaps you have one as well. Here is the video of Clyde Frazier eating French fries in a way none of us have seen French fries eaten before. He is eating them not with his fingers in a cup of French fries, but just eating from the rim of the cup of French fries. We think we know why this is. Do you know why this is?
All right, here's a guess, is that he doesn't want to get the grease from the French fries on his fingers and have any possibility of touch that magical suit that he looked so wonderful in yesterday. So that's my guess. I'm surprised he did eat. I'm surprised he had the French fries out in public like that, because he's very careful about maintaining this aura that he eats nothing but healthy stuff. I've watched him for years have Snickers bars underneath the table and eating them. So it's a false narrative.
Okay, so he's hiding his bad eating, and that was our theory, that he just doesn't want to get his fingers on the clothes at all, because that wardrobe is unlike anything in the history of the sport.
No, he's impeccably dressed, and he doesn't want anything to touch that would damage that look, because he looked marvelous yesterday.
I would like to play for you just a couple of your bangs, and I want you to see if I want to just see if you can identify the bang. I think let's not give him any context. Let's just give him the.
He'll know the game, the day, the time of the bang.
There's going to be some slight context here, but you're not going to hear any player's name. It's just going to be an isolated bang, and you have to guess which call it was.
We've only got 2 of them for you here, and it was before we tried to do this before we knew you were uncomfortable with it, and now we're just being stubborn about it and not caring about your feelings. So let's play the first one.
Way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from...
Oh, that's an easy one. That's Curry in Oklahoma City.
Taken by Iguodala. They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
The rare double bang. There have only been 6 of those ever, I think, in the history of.
Do I win a prize for guessing it
Man,
right?
he's flexing on us. Oh, that's easy.
Yeah, well, that one was easy. All of a sudden, he likes the game.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he's less he's less uncomfortable than he was before. Let's play the other one for him.
His three-pointer. Bang!
Oh, come on!
He knows that.
Come on! How did we not do better than that?
It's Ray Allen.
Yes, of course it's Ray
obviously.
Allen.
James catches, puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound, Bosch. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
You were looking for a bang like on a Tuesday night, Cavs and Wizards, right?
Yes,
Not that Mike's calling that game.
It's bad executive producing from Chris Cody, who was sent 8 of these and picked the 2 we all know.
All right, here we go. Here's another one.
Bang!
There you go. You guys want to play the game? There it is.
When, Mike?
My head.
There you go. Now we're playing it your guys' way. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mike.
Bang!
Oh my goodness, I have no idea.
That's also the Curry one again.
Downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from downtown.
Chris wins.
Stugotz has a top 5 list for you of the trademark calls throughout broadcasting. Do you have any OLIs, or is it just a top 5?
I have 6 OLIs, yes.
Oh, 6 of them.
Yes,
All right.
or 7 maybe. I don't
6
know.
outside looking in, 7 if Stugotz is bad at math. Let's go.
OLI number 1, bang.
Oh, really? It's not a top 5. Okay.
Yep.
Not a top 5. Insulting to our guests.
You literally could have done a top 10 with one OLI.
I could have done that. I didn't. It's a top 5.
Keep going.
Lee Corso's Not So Fast, My Friend.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Harry Carries.
Oh, holy cow.
Keith Jackson. Oh, Nelly.
Good timing, Chris.
Thank you. Booyah, Stuart Scott. As cool as the other side of the pillow, Stuart Scott. Dave Johnson, down the stretch they come.
You got 5 better than those.
I have one more OLI. Jim Nance. Hello, friends. Number 5. Hand down, man down.
Really?
It's a great call. I mean, Mike will tell you, great call, right, Mike? Trademark call.
He's just staring at us quietly, stoically, and he said it's great because he's a good teammate. Number 4.
Mama, there goes that man.
Wow, 2 of them for Mark Jackson.
Yep.
2 of them. Number 3.
Christopher Mad Dog Russo. Good afternoon, everybody. How are you today?
Is that a trademark call?
Oh, it is.
Absolutely.
Is it?
Intro.
Yep.
It's just him. Okay.
It's my list.
Number 2.
That was, if you're in New York, you waited every afternoon to hear that when they came on the air.
Yep.
When
Thank
they
you.
ruled the airways, those 2.
Thank you, Mike. WFAT. Number 2, Bang Bang.
Oh, congratulations, Mike. Number 2 on the list. You got 1 better than that.
I do. Kevin Harlan, right between the eyes.
How do you feel about that list, Mike?
I love the list. I love Kevin being on the list. Where's Marv's yes?
Oh
my
wow.
It's my list. Make your own.
Oh,
I mean,
my God.
Jeez.
Where is Marv's yes? Were you
a great
jealous
point.
yesterday when Murray and Harlan had a face-off on the single greatest shot I've ever seen by degree of difficulty in the sport? Were you jealous that Harlan and Murray had that moment together and that you were not in it?
Not at all. Kevin's one of my best friends in the business. I love Kevin. His passion is amazing. And Murray, interestingly, is a huge, he's a fan of our medium and a fan of calls. Like he grew up listening to Marv. And there was a game in the finals last year where he hit a shot and he turned to the table and he yelled bang to us at the table. So he watches and listens, so he's into it, and I thought that was a great moment for him and for Kev.
How often? Give me a number of times a player has shouted bang at you.
Oh, not that much. Not as much. Not as much as you think. I can't believe this is what we're talking about this morning.
Do you like the meme that has your face on it that says, I'm about to say bang so MF loud?
Well, I get my kids tease me all the time about stuff like that. So it's what I like is what happens a lot at arenas, especially at the Garden, is they'll come up with their cell phones recording the younger generation, and they'll stick the cell phone in your face and say bang for me, say bang, say. That's all they want me to do is yell bang. They don't want a picture. They don't want anything else. They just want me to yell bang into their phone.
They're not even ambitious enough to ask for a double bang? That's terrible.
No, that hasn't started. That hasn't started yet.
You seem sad by this, by the way.
I mean, another convincing argument on the idea of just banishing young people from interacting with anybody. Thank you, Mike. Good talking to you. Stugotz, you know how much I love going back and visiting 1990s baseball. Yesterday, during the Dodgers-Padres game, I'm not even kidding you, I felt like a dinosaur had wandered onto the field because Yarborough is throwing about 86, 87 miles an hour to Arise, who's just trying to slap a single to left. And so I'm watching baseball from another time. Like it was like watching Jamie Moyer. Like I didn't know there was a guy I didn't know there was a guy in the big league still throwing in the 80s. Like I didn't think that was a thing. I didn't think that was possible.
Little slap single. I mean,
yeah, it was baseball from another time, but
a better time, Dan.
I disagree.
Okay,
it is not a better time. Those games were 4 hours long. I needed those games sped up a little bit.
I do kind of miss when like you only had one guy that threw 99. Like remember when Matt Lindstrom threw 99? How impressed we were by it.
It was a thing. Yeah.
I love being nostalgic about the things that like a lot of people say they don't like about baseball. Not that specifically, but games being 5 hours long. That's fun. Baseball's great.
So you miss the slop tosser? You miss the guy who throws a crouton up there? A Luis Aquino who's throwing 88 the entire game trying to hit the paint?
The Negros, yes.
Jamie, you said it right.
Well, that's 45 miles an hour. That second goal from the Bruins last night was a knuckleball.
Oh, that was ridiculous, man.
I was a high school baseball player sitting in the crowd being like, I could hit this guy. Jamie Moyer, I've seen 87 before.
Jason Varitek could have made that save, really. That knuckleball.
Yeah.
I want to get to that hockey game because, Stugotz, I was afraid of both of those franchises that the Panthers faced in the first two rounds. And I was saying before the playoffs started that this is the most championship-worthy hockey team that we've ever had down here. And you can make the argument throughout all of our sports region that outside of the University of Miami football teams and the LeBron-era Miami Heat, that these Panthers are most championship worthy. What they did to Tampa and the way they did it. What they're doing to Boston, which is a very good team where you're just destroying them. Like the idea that I came in here today and everyone was still confident that the Panthers were going to win that game when they were down 2-0, where every Panthers playoff game I've ever seen before this team, if they're down 2-0, that's over. But because of the style of hockey that they play, because they're so physical, because they're so annoying, because they're so relentless, because they will fight you, because this series is about physically fighting. Like we haven't even gotten to game 5 and we're already. You saw this, Roy. George Richards, legendary sports writer down here, is fighting with Boston media members, and we have escalated in hockey to the official chirping stage. We have gotten to the stage where people are chirping.
People hate the Panthers now. It's just a sight to behold. I'm just not used to it now. We have all the attention. It's like, it's a beautiful thing as a Panthers fan.
Yes or no, we've escalated to the chirping stage?
Oh, we have. We have.
Why is George Richards fighting with Boston media?
Because Boston is scared.
Chirping stage.
They're blaming everybody for their own defeat right now.
I think the physicality has gotten the headlines of this series so far, but I think Barkov is the story of this series so far. He's having his moment.
He's been great. Yeah.
He is having the moment where everybody they were praising him like crazy after that game.
Well, because
comparing him to Mario Lemieux.
Well, because
Easy.
The Barkov line has been great, and what a lot of the players for the Panthers were saying is it's not normal to get the winning goal through 3 defenders, but it's been kind of normal for that guy this season. I don't understand how it is, Roy, that Zaslow traded Barkov last year. I have not heard you guys complain about any Panther more than playoff Barkov before this Barkov.
Well, he didn't score in the playoffs. That was a problem. But now he's scoring the playoffs right now. He's the leading candidate for Conn Smythe.
Ekblad we complained about, but Barkov was next on that list.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ekblad's been hampered by injury his entire career in the playoffs. Like you saw that breakaway in Game 2. He was a step slow.
You're saying if the season ended today, that Barkov is winning the Conn Smythe?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's been great.
Yeah.
I promised Katie Nolan, I promised her that we had her booked before the Boston Bruins lost in that fashion. We are not trying to consume all of her tears here, but this is where we have ended up because she loves her Boston teams. And is she ready, Chris?
She's having audio issues. She was able to hear us, and now she can. We're working on it.
Okay, excellent. So she is going to join us in moments because Boston is a little heartbroken the last couple of years. Last year's Boston team was better than this one. I don't know.
No, it was the best ever last year. The best team ever.
Best regular season team ever.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. But this year, the Panthers just dominated in team defense. Like, if you look at the shot attempts and shots on goal, 304 for the Panthers, 175 shot attempts total for the Boston Bruins. So it's been a domination. They doubled them up.
If the Panthers can get through this, Dan, it will be quite the run because they beat the Tampa Bay Lightning, beating the Boston Bruins, and then taking on the Rangers. And if they beat them in the Eastern Conference Finals to get to a cup, well, you should be. The Rangers are probably the best team in hockey, but that would be quite the run. That would be because hockey has not happened. The favorites are winning most of these series. So that would be an incredible run to go through the Lightning, your nemesis, going through the Bruins, best team in the league last year, and just a point separated those two this year, and then taking on the Rangers and beating them, man, that would be great.
But what Roy is saying, though, this part is just different. I've not experienced this as a hockey fan or someone who has covered hockey in South Florida in the entire history in this market. The team is down 2-0. Its fans should be scared based on its history. Look at what Stugotz is doing with the Knicks based on his history. They cough up a game, and Stugotz is immediately he's just scarred by all of the past. The idea that this team, through its play, merits not just hope from its customers, but confidence from its customers, because there is no better feeling for a sports fan than knowing your team is great, not thinking it, knowing it, and then having it validated because you've got a Bruins team that is and was excellent all season, has been excellent for 2 seasons. And what you're saying is true, Roy. Those numbers of shot attempts, you cannot sustain that and win a series. You cannot. Maybe if you've got the world's hottest goalie, but Boston doesn't have that.
Swayman, honestly, has been good in this series. He's the only reason that the goalie for Boston, he's the only reason this has been any kind of series.
Yeah, and they can easily switch to Allmark if they felt like in this next game as a desperation attempt. Like last year, they had the problem of switching goaltenders based off. Allmark was injured. They waited too late to go to Swayman. This time around, maybe they should go to Allmark because it's just not working for them.
Can I have that jacket?
Oh, baby. Hell no.
You don't
almost got it autographed by Tim Raines, but it took too long.
Rock.
You do not have a better jacket than that, do you, Roy Wood Jr.?
No one does.
You don't have that. Expos jacket is old school and wonderful, and you must wear that with a great deal of pride.
Here's the problem, though. When you wear this jacket, real Expo fans come up to you and try to have statistical conversations that I am not prepared to have. And all I can go is, yeah, man, 94 would have been the year, but that strike, man, damn.
That's all you need, Roy.
There's nothing worse than wearing a jacket of a team you don't know nothing about. I'm a Cubs fan. Hey, man, Larry Walker, him good.
You just need a handful of Moises Alou stats or something, but you can't even fake it, huh?
Bro, I can't do it. I saw Marquise Grissom at a golf thing in Birmingham a couple weeks ago, and even then, he was like, "Oh, that's a nice jacket." I was like, "Cubs, yes, Cubs." I'm like, "Please, Father God, don't ask me about anything that happened in Montreal during your time there. Let's just talk about the Braves. Good catch with the Braves. Yeah, you caught that ball."
Roy, listen, just say you hate David Sampson, okay? When someone brings up the Expos, he killed baseball in Montreal, just so you know. Just say you don't like David Sampson, okay?
Yeah, that's fine. And so I can get punched in the face by Sampson when I'm down in Miami somewhere.
He can't reach your face, I promise.
You shouldn't be making short jokes at anyone's expense. You're not very much taller than David Sampson.
But I'm taller.
He's got shows coming up next month in Bloomington, Indiana, and St. Louis, and in Chicago. Get your tickets at roywoodjr.com. You were at the Netflix is a Joke Fest. May still be, for all I know. How much fun was all of that?
It was a good time. I think they just wrapped up last weekend. To be able to thank you to everybody in LA that came out. But I think also the cool thing with the Netflix is a Joke Festival for comedians, it's kind of like a class reunion. So, you see the Chappelles and the Jon Stewarts and the Cat Williams and the Kevin Hart. We had a nice brunch at Ted Sarandos's home. I guess it was, I don't know, some rich person's front yard. We were in there. And so we had a chance also to see Sinbad, who, has had some health issues over the last couple of years. And they did a wonderful benefit show for his health fund as well. So, all in all, it was a good time just for me to be able to meet some of the OGs in the game.
I saw you in a photograph that had more great comedians than I've ever seen in one photograph together. Is that a common thing? Because it was just a lot of you in one place, and I don't know how many photographs like that have ever been taken.
In the modern day, not many, if any. With that volume of comics, like that legendary Harlem photo with all of the Harlem musicians during the Harlem Renaissance era. Not ever. I mean, the only other festival we've had up until this was the Montreal Comedy Festival, the Just for Laughs Festival, which just bankrupted last year, ironically. So for Netflix kind of slide in and have an opportunity to celebrate comedy at its biggest scale all the way down to the smaller clubs. I mean, you're talking about legends all the way down to open micers who all get an opportunity to be seen by industry. And then, of course, the Tom Brady roast. Like, you're not going to have that unless you have every great comic in town on the set. Like, it's really like, it's the We Are the World of comedy, where the We Are the World taping only happened because there was like a bunch of, listen at me, I watched one documentary. You ever talk to somebody who watches one doc and they act like, I read a book about, no, you didn't. You watched the doc like everybody else, dummy. But it was because there was a music awards show in town and all the stars were already here. So F it, let's do a song. So I think that's kind of probably part of why the Tom Brady roast was so star-studded too.
How stressful was it choosing where to stand in that photo? Because I was stressed out for a lot of people in that photo. I was just like, if I was there, it would be just so stressful.
I'm not stressed at all. Anything with more than 5 people, I stand to the edge of all photos because the center is where the scandals be. Like, if you ever watch, somebody in the center of that photo has done something that is not public yet, and I don't want to be the person next to that person.
It's Bert Kreischer. It's shirtless Bert Kreischer.
No doubt, it's Kreischer.
He's right in the middle of the photo, smiling.
Bro, I don't fool with the center of photographs ever. Put me on the edge. That way, I know I get cropped out in your documentary. I'm not gonna be in it. Cause whenever you're grinning next to the person, they just go, "Ain't that your boy? You with the butt." You just took one picture with Trump accidentally in 1984, and now 50 years later, that's your boy, ain't it? Do you support his policies? It's like, man, I should have stood on the edge.
Why aren't the potentially scandalous people the ones on the outside? Like, my cousin's grandmother used to tell, like, her grandkids' boyfriends and girlfriends, like, go stand on the edge of the photo. That way, when you guys break up, we can just cut you out and still save the photo. So, like, why is the photographer not doing the same with potentially scandalous people and letting them know, like, hey, I feel like you may have some stuff come up in the future?
Scandalous people want to be the center of attention. That's why they're always in the middle of the photo. You can't push them off. They have ego. They want you to know that they're out there and doing their damn thing. Look, man, it's too many scandals and too much dirt coming up about people left and right that I just don't want to be in nobody's photos no more, man. I'm done with it. How's that picture with Diddy working out for you now? Sure you're glad you took that one, right?
It's a dangerous game.
He has a picture with Diddy?
That's what I'm saying. You don't know. You don't know, bro.
Right.
I worked in hip-hop radio for 15 years. Do you know how many pictures I've taken with rappers? I don't know what's going to happen to me, Dan. So now, every photo, I'm on the edge. That was the perfect place. Put me next to Kim Jong, and I think I'm over there with all the Asian comics that came out that day.
You mentioned
I'm
Trump.
pretty sure it's Atsuko, it's Kim Jong. There's a couple, but Jimmy O Yang, he's over. Yeah, man, put me over there in the corner with the no scandal Asian comedians.
You mentioned Trump, and new polling out today from the New York Times says that he leads Biden in 5 crucial battleground states. He wins more than 20% of black voters, the highest level of black support for any Republican presidential candidate since the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Is that shocking to you?
Well, is it shocking that black people are rocking with Trump?
At the highest rate since the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
What does that mean? Like the polls, like it's like this is the most black since freed the slaves. Like that makes it seem like Trump is as good as slavery freeing like Republicans from back in the day. I'm not surprised at any of this because I think we got more single issue voters than we've ever had as a voting populace now. So if you have someone that is just saying the right thing, even if it logically does not make sense yet, you probably could get that person's vote right now. We're so in pain and so fed up with not being serviced as a black people that some of us are just gonna go, all right, I'll do anything but this. I'm not surprised by it. I think everybody should be doing their homework on the policies a little bit more. And I think if you do that, you probably would have these candidates more neck and neck than 20% up.
Michael Cohen's on the stand.
I don't agree with it.
Michael Cohen's on the stand this week. Do voters care? Do you think they care? Or is this something that people don't care about because it's not on television and it's courtroom sketches?
I don't think people care. We need cameras back in the courtroom, bro. That's the only way. The OJ trial was made because of the video. If there was a sketch of OJ putting the glove on, nobody would have cared. It's got to be the right circus. And it's crazy because this is the simplest of all the Trump cases to follow, and we don't care. It's the simplest. Did you pay her or not to shut up after y'all got butt naked? That's literally it's not hiding holdings and manipulating people and the money and the stocks and where are you hiding the real estate? It's just, did you wear a condom or not? Like, it's hilarious, but I also, sidebar, how is courtroom drawer, how is that still a job? And I'm trying to be respectful when I ask this question. There's 2 jobs that I don't understand how they're still jobs. I'm happy people have a job, but I'm trying to understand in this day and age of cameras and also just AI, how is person drawing what happened still a job? Also, movie theater ticket ripper. Why do we still need this person? Who is this person in charge of ripping a sheet of paper in half? And where does the other half of that paper go?
Excellent questions that I have not considered until
the movie
right now.
Should literally be a boarding pass scan like you get on a flight situation at this point. We don't need ticket. Theater 2 to the left. Huh? Why? If I can find my airline gate without assistance, I'm pretty sure I can find which one of these theaters got the Planet of the Apes movie. I'm digressing, but I don't. And these drawings aren't always good. And we have to act like it's good because it's the only drawing we have. Why not have competing drawers in the courtroom? Is there more than?
I have to disagree. Yeah. The Tom Brady courtroom sketch is one of the greatest works of art, I think, of the 21st century. I don't know if you remember that one, but
because it was terrible. He looked like a caveman. I remember that. It's only good when it's bad. Like that's
it is. It's hard to explain, but if you don't allow cameras in the courtroom, what do you want them to do? You want to use artificial intelligence to just figure out how to do that?
It is one of the most inexplicable, like, technology-proof jobs. Like, two people who work forever is courtroom drawer person and Vanna White. And like, just for whatever reason, technology will never eliminate either of those two jobs. And I met Vanna White when I did Celebrity Wheel of Fortune. I said it to her face. It's all respectful right now.
Again, you're hitting him with the look at me, Louie. He doesn't necessarily know the show just because he's mentioning stories from his past. What did you make of students walking out of Jerry Seinfeld's graduation speech at Duke this weekend?
I don't think it's any different from any of the other protests. The students have a right to do that. The wilder thing is that, I don't know if you saw the footage of it, Seinfeld is like got this smirk the whole time while it's happening, almost as if he's like, oh yeah, I've expected this. I've anticipated pause for booze within my act. I think that with all of the protests, what we can't do as grown-ups is write off young people as just being huffy and not knowing anything. These kids are more plugged in and more educated on topics way faster and sooner than we need it to be. So I think that thinking that they don't have the same scope of world politics as we did when we were at that age, I think we're really, really, really underestimating the value of the youth vote and what their opinions hold.
Before we get to the Drake-Kendrick beef, I did want to ask you, and I failed to ask you when you were talking about it before, Netflix bankrolling your industry right now. You mentioned that the Comedy Festival in Montreal had gone bankrupt. What is Netflix doing right now for your industry?
Netflix is keeping stand-up comedy, at the forefront. My hope is that the other streamers will eventually follow suit. HBO Max has some stuff, Max now. They still have, new stand-up specials and everything. But I think Netflix by volume is they're dominant. Netflix is today what Comedy Central was 20 years ago. When Comedy Central had stand-up on almost every night of the week, they had hour specials, they had half hours. I'm old enough to remember when Dane Cook was only doing 20 minutes up in Hudson Yards in New York City. So they're integral to getting the industry of stand-up comedy relevant in the sense that what Netflix does, by putting comedy on television, you're encouraging people to go and see comedy live. Part of what the Netflix is a Joke Festival does, in my opinion, is that it shows a bunch of people all out seeing comedy live. So when these people, no matter who they are, no matter where they are and where they rank in the game, when they come to your town, you're more inclined to go see them live. The idea of still getting up off your ass and going into a building and buying 2 drinks still will make sense to the next generation of comedy fans. So, I think that part of it, we talk about bankrolling, but the idea of like stand up as a showcasey thing on TV, like Evening at the Improv or Comic View or Premium Blend, or those shows are gone, where it used to be a 30-minute show with 4 comics all doing a couple of minutes apiece. You might get some comedy on Fallon still. You might get some, every now and then on Colbert. But by and large, at volume, stand-up comedy is not on TV, on cable, the way it was 20 years ago. So if Netflix is going to flood the block with content, so be it. That's good for my industry, and it's good for the comedy clubs.
If you want to get up off your ass and get 2 drinks and sit in a building in Bloomington, Indiana, or in St. Louis, or in Chicago, or 30 minutes outside of Chicago, you can get tickets at RoyWoodJr.com, and you should do so.
He's got me scrolling through all my old photos, and I'm deleting a lot of them. Like, I'm deleting Sid Rosenberg photos.
One of them's done something. I guarantee you.
Oh, he's got a photo from the 80s with O.J. Simpson. He does. Stugotz does.
Yeah.
They're deleting photos with him.
You're the person, and if you go through your photos, and you're the person in the center of most of the photos,
I am.
It's you. The problem is you.
You could have deleted the OJ one a while ago.
I should have.
You quit the Daily Show about 8 months ago. Jon Stewart is 3 months into his return. He seems to have done good by the ratings. Have you been watching? Do you watch?
Yeah, I still watch the show. Funny fact about that Netflix photo, that was the first time I've seen John since everything, changed over or whatever at the show. And we had a good, quick little chit chat about everything. The ratings are up. The show is relevant. It's an election year. It's an essential program. I still watch it. There's not a lot of places other than Daily Show or John Oliver where I can get the news boiled down to some degree. I watch Bill Maher when I can. So I still want to be informed. I just didn't want to work in that environment for a little while because it's too pressure filled. But in terms of still figuring out what's going on, I'm not going to watch CBS Sunday mornings every week. That's too slow.
Oh, Jane
I need
Pauley?
a joke or two.
Oh, come on. I love that stream with little birds. 90 seconds of a stream, a sound of a stream. What is that?
Some birds chirping.
Yeah, here's 90 seconds of serenity with the world's oldest television program.
I'm excited to see what Jon Stewart and him do on the road. Jon Stewart is at his best when he's like Conan, where you put him out of town, out of his element, and then I think that's where he really becomes on steroids. So when the Daily Show goes to the conventions this summer, I think that's when you're really going to see the show hit another level.
In the spirit of closing that loop, Billy, because I am grateful that my admonishment of you being an active and purposeful irritant who tries to destroy the show, you actually made yourself helpful there, and I was confused by it. I thought your hands were in your pocket and that I would mistrust you because when you're helpful, I think there's an agenda or something that you're up to.
Is this a compliment or an apology or an insult? What is this exactly?
It's neither of those things. It's not an apology or a compliment, but I thank you for bringing back this subject because I don't think that we talked enough about the people in your life that you believe would problem solve with a headbutt. Because the headbutt, I have never thought, right? I would try to protect my head in a fight. I would not be aggressive with my head in a fight. I know a few people who would handle stuff this way. There is one person, I've told you the story, you're always making fun of me when I quote sources from the MMA community, but I know some people down here in South Florida, which has a very active MMA community, a lot of MMA business down here, that a friend of mine was one time driving behind somebody who was on a bicycle and on the back wheel and purposely weaving through traffic and ignoring that my friend was honking and trying to get around him. And so eventually they got into a shouting match and my friend got out of the car, went up to the cyclist who approached him, headbutted him and left him in the street, solved it with a headbutt. But I don't know many people. I wouldn't mess with any of them. I don't know many people who solve things with a headbutt. And I'm asking you guys, what do you make of someone who does? Because that is a person that I would not want to mess with.
Once you're willing to go with the headbutt, there is no line you're not willing to cross.
Right.
Like, that person is crazy.
Yeah. To me, headbutting and eye gouging almost seem to go together in some odd way. I would find it difficult to be a soccer player and just head the ball. I mean, because it's like, wow, that must give you a headache.
Right.
How do you do that? But
What?
to actually head
Greg,
somebody else's
it often
skull.
does.
I'm with them. I try to avoid a header.
No, Mike knows.
Yeah.
Now, I am familiar with the woodpecker community, okay? Woodpeckers use their beak to peck wood, which in and of itself has to hurt. So the human equivalent of the woodpecker is the headbutter.
Yeah.
So there is some precedent there.
Yeah.
What? I've made my point. Now I'll move on.
It was a good one.
Thank you.
Yep.
Woodpecker that pecks wood.
Yeah. They use their beak to peck wood.
Right.
They don't have arms. If I had a hammer, they don't have a hammer. They use their beak. And the headbutt is similar.
Right.
The motion is similar.
Correct.
Right. So, take my point and run with it. Bring it to the bank. Invest it. Go into a bank, go up to a teller, and say, I want to invest the idea that a woodpecker and a headbutter is a similar...
People just walk in, give me takes all day.
First of all, you saying the phrase, I'm familiar with the woodpecker community, is useless.
I am.
I don't believe the woodpecker suffers any pain from. We'll ask Ron McGill. He's going to be on with us. I don't think there's any pain involved for the woodpecker there.
We have breaking news. No Ron McGill. Hyena surgery. Yeah. I misread it first and thought it was hernia.
Yeah, it has to be. Yeah.
Get Woody on the phone.
He's familiar with the woodpecker community. He'd be helpful.
Is there another woodpecker?
I can't think of one.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show.
Famous, that's for sure.
Is the logic like if I headbutt you, I'm already sacrificing the thing that you would punch. In fact, I'm using this punchable thing as the weapon. So there is nothing that you can do to actually hurt
To me, it's like a nose butt or a mouth butt.
Well, there's an art to it too. It's a mouth butt. Like you don't lead in with nose. That's not what you do.
I'm just saying that using the thing that you would be trying to protect from getting hit to start the fight, that it's no one's got. There can't be a fight where anyone's expecting a headbutt. It's got to be
in that part of the country and that part of the world. I would expect it more.
Saudi Arabia.
Well, was that in Saudi? Well, I was going to say with Europeans.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Zinedine Zidane.
Yeah, they're
Jokic.
Europeans.
Good point.
Europeans
The Jokic
are more
brothers definitely would
Slavs.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're more likely to headbutt. Yeah. This is a sweeping generalization that might be xenophobic, but I feel confident in saying this. Yeah. Europeans headbutt more.
They do, especially Eastern European.
Put it on the poll. Do Eastern Europeans headbutt more? Just leave it like that.
Especially when you consider his family ties. More marauders.
Also, gypsies.
Well, he is a gypsy king, but I've found that is a disparaging word, and you can only use it in context of like Tyson Fury calls himself this.
That's correct.
Would you rather come face to face with a biter or a headbutter?
Wow.
Put that on the poll as well. Would you prefer to come face to face with a biter or a headbutter? And also put on the poll at Le Batard Show: do woodpeckers hurt their beaks or heads when they woodpeck? Because I don't believe that they do. Otherwise, I'm guessing they would stop doing it.
No, that's why there's that concussion stuff. Yeah, like I think that necklace that you see a couple football players wearing around their neck is like the tech is based on woodpeckers.
Mm-hmm. Well,
the internet is telling me a woodpecker's brain takes a big hit with every peck against a tree, yet the animal doesn't get brain damage. A team of scientists says the reason is the brain's very small size.
No CTE for that one, huh?
How about that?
Bird brain.
They don't have a hammer, though. They have no choice.
That's right. That is what Greg Cody
do what
said.
You got
to do. Do you guys know what he was doing there? Because Greg Cody has a stream of thoughts. He thinks all his thoughts are interesting, and anytime there's one in there, he just says it, even though if it's useless. Do you guys know what he was doing there? Because he was doing the song from, I guess, the 1960s, If I Had a Hammer.
Mm-hmm. If I had a hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sing it, Greg.
Trini Lopez, I believe.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Back that ass up.
Yeah. How about yeah. It's a folk song. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning. I'd hammer in the evening. All over this land. I'd sing about justice. I'd sing about freedom. I may have mixed that up. It might be freedom and then justice. But it starts off, if I had a hammer, and then it turns into like a folk song.
Woodpeckers prevent brain damage in a fascinating way. Their tongues wrap around their jugular veins to increase blood flow to the brain. That's what those necklaces do. They increase blood flow.
Mm-hmm. That's fascinating.
The woodpecker's biology functions much like bubble wrap to protect and insulate the brain from damage.
Trini Lopez also not Trina, who also is not Juvenile, who sings back that ass up. Mm-hmm. Lots of confusion.
What year was that song? And again, why did you insert that in the middle of what it is you were talking about, as if anyone should understand it?
It was 1962.
There you go. Good year.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Cody, 7 going on 8. Prime of my life.
You've made LeBron 40, prime of his life, and you're 7.
Everyone
or
has a
8
different prime.
Yeah. That was the beginning of my prime when I was 7.
Early bloomer.
You're still in it.
Thank you.
Need someone to come in and give a speech. And that's where you come in. An inspiring speech from General Patton. And you're named General Patton in this. You would play the role of General Patton.
Am I on an actual show right now, or are my PR guys playing a prank?
Are we at a bus stop, or yeah?
Is this an actual show, or did you guys build this today just to mess with me?
This was a terrible idea. Roy, I don't know how you feel today. The Panthers had the Boston Bruins cornered. You want to end that at home. I know you've been afraid at no point during this series, but your general feeling.
Are you going to ask Roy if he wants a Game 7?
Okay, you guys are making fun of me for this, but I thought Game 7s at home are fun and the greatest thing. And
when you're losing the series,
yes,
and you force it.
Right.
If you're winning and you choke to get to Game 7, not as fun.
Rare is the team up 3-2 that wants to force a Game 7. I mean,
understood, but you guys are always telling me how confident you are and how hard it is to play in New York, and you don't have real confidence about it if you're terrified of a Game 7 and simply don't want it under any circumstances.
But you were asking Roy, the Panthers had him cornered, had it done. You want to get it done at home. You don't want to go back to Boston. I feel like Roy is still confident. I can't believe I'm saying this.
I would love a Game 7 at home, and I don't want that series to end in Boston. I want it brought back here, and I want maximum stakes on everybody.
I would like this series to end in Boston, Dan. I mean, I would like them to go to the Eastern Conference Final and face either the Rangers or the Hurricanes, most likely the Rangers.
But you're not rattled. You're good.
I'm fine.
Really?
Yes.
My favorite part of last night's game, other than that we lost, like that part sucked, but Maurice yelling at the team to inspire, and we get a goal right after.
So 11 seconds after that tirade.
We have the video of, I think it's B-roll, where we can just see him laying into the team. There's a fan longing for him, and that's the way I look at Paul Maurice.
Longing for Paul Maurice just by watching him just coach, just be a coach.
He was just laying into the team, and I see this clip, and then the fan, oh my God, it's me. It's the way I would look at him, just longing.
And you just think that it's
sexy.
Sexy. You're claiming.
Look right here. You can see it. Look at the guy in the background. Look at the way he's looking at Maurice there. That's the way I look at him. I love him. And look, he's telling his friend, he's yelling at him.
You're just gazing at him longing.
Do we have an ISO of just the look? I love this guy.
Because his veins are in his neck bulging.
Hockey coach. I mean.
I'm afraid that the one Hall of Famer that has joined us today is snoring in the back next to Jeremy. Mike Ryan came running in today to executive produce again. He's pushed Chris out of the chair in order for all of us to celebrate the one true Hall of Famer who is here. Bernie, the Heat mascot, has arrived, and we need to vote him into the Hall of Fame. Billy has yelled and screamed at the Mascot Hall of Fame Executive Committee because he thinks it's communist.
Well, they just don't respect your vote. I mean, you can vote for Bernie. You can vote for them to get into the Hall of Fame, but here's the thing. They don't care about your votes. They're just going to do whatever they want. They proved that with Billy the Marlin, and it's a sham. But I hope you guys get in. But
what do you mean, you guys? We've got Bernie is going to make the Hall of Fame.
Well, I mean, there's a big class. Multiple people get in every year.
Who are the others in the class, and do you think they rise to the level? We said before that the state of Florida, has never had a mascot in the Hall of Fame.
Billy the Marlin was voted in by the fans, and then the Hall of Fame didn't let him in for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
We got to talk to somebody to get some questions answered. Lucy, you love mascots. You told me you were very excited to have Bernie in today.
Look, I'm looking at the Mascot Hall of Fame right now, and Little Red for Nebraska made it, and he's a freak, so I don't trust the voting.
Oh, wow. All right, let's get someone on to answer some
questions. From the Hall of Fame,
yes. To put them under the interrogation lights and ask them why. I want to ask them the question, Billy, if you ask for fan vote and then don't respect it, what do you do?
Well, it's just 1/3 of the voting process. The committee gets in, and then I guess if they get in, they get votes. It's a loaded class this year. Big Al is there from the University of Alabama. The Leprechaun from Notre Dame is there. Mrs. Met is there. I wonder if Mr. Met wants Mrs. Met in the Hall of Fame or not. Or if Mr. Met just wants to have the Hall of Fame be Mr. Met's thing.
Wait a minute. That is loaded. You just gave two that I think...
New Jersey Devil is there. Purdue Pete. Orbit.
Purdue Pete?
Rosie Red. Talon. Jackson DeVille. Lucille.
Lucy, what is your problem with Purdue Pete?
What isn't my problem with Purdue Pete? Have you seen that freak?
Muscular.
He is like if death were a mascot. He's terrifying.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Is Purdue Pete like if death were a mascot?
None of these mascots have ever been arrested, am I right?
Sebastian is truly Miami.
Fist me.
Purdue Pete has been arrested. He got arrested like 2 years ago.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
What is
at like a McDonald's or something.
wait a
I'm
minute.
not even
Wait a
joking.
For
minute.
murder?
Not for murder.
Oh.
What is the backstory, please, on Purdue Pete being arrested? Because I did not have Chris Cody getting that so immediately wrong.
Yeah.
Alleged battery and disorderly conduct at a McDonald's. I'll look more.
You know what?
I sit corrected.
Okay. You know what? All right, Purdue Pete. Do it in a game. Sebastian did it during a game. He did it during a big game. He got arrested on the road. He got arrested. Let's go. Not buying a burger, Purdue Pete.
Well, it was assault, we said, yeah.
Well, he didn't get arrested for buying a burger. I know that, Metal Art consultant Billy Gill.
Was he in costume? I mean,
The reason that both of these mascots sitting with us deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, they invented stuff. Bernie invented the hip thrust. Oh, yeah.
Did he invent that? Please don't do that to me.
Bernie, did you invent the hip thrust?
Very uncomfortable. Don't ever do that
I'll do it again.
No, please don't do
Like
that.
that thing, I don't have a thing.
Let Bernie do
Well,
it.
you
Let
do,
Bernie
you, you
do
do
it.
have it. You have
Yeah,
it.
but,
Yeah.
This is awkward. And what he did, the side, like splitting his mouth thing, who else does that?
I think that might actually be something that Sebastian the Ibis did indeed invent. I don't know if Bernie
No, he
invented
did. Look it up.
Well, you were wrong about the arrest thing, though.
your mascot information.
Should I do it again?
Is not exceptional.
No.
You know what? I would like, now that you've mentioned it, for you to do it the remainder of the segment.
Oh, come on, man.
We only have
happens,
18
Chris.
minutes
Sitting
left.
next to him.
Trying to teach
Go
you.
ahead and stand up and hold the microphone to you and go ahead and do that while I get Roy's hockey analysis that makes Bernie snore. You don't have any concerns. You have said that a number of different times and ways, but I was not expecting that. I know the hardest game to get against tough teams is the desperate one that will end their season. But given the way the last 3 games looked for Florida, I was genuinely surprised by that result.
Well, the Bruins limited the Panthers' shots, especially in the first period. For the first half of this game, it was pretty much all Bruins, and the Panthers really could not control the puck. I mean, they were giving the puck away. There were 2 transition opportunities on their power play that went back for breakaways. It just wasn't very good. I mean, Carter Verhaeghe didn't have a good game. Matthew Tkachuk didn't.
The power
really
play was bad.
disappeared.
Our
Yeah, the
power play was bad. We've looked great on the power play, and last night was rough.
Give Swayman some credit, though, Roy. He was great
Yes,
last night.
he was great last night. Yeah. Bob was also good. But, yeah, I mean, the Panthers played their way out of that game.
Reinhart scored a goal. How about score more than 1 goal?
Yeah,
because there
Reinhart
was plenty of opportunities. No, Sam Reinhart was not great. There were plenty of opportunities there at the end of the game to score more goals, and Sam Reinhart is just missing them.
No, Sam Reinhart was good on both sides of the puck. So and Alexander.
He missed one late. He had a big one, a chance late with the net.
To Billy's point, he had 8 shots. I mean,
well, let me explore.
Paul Maurice screams at him and says, "Score more goals!" Right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
he did.
People are giving Paul Maurice a lot of credit for the game before, that the Panthers scored immediately after he gave some sort of pep talk. They scored immediately after, as if the guy in a suit on the sideline.
Are they required to wear suits? I've been wondering this because I don't know the rules of hockey, but they're always wearing suits. Are they required to? Because what if you could just wear a hoodie? Because it seems a lot more comfortable.
John Tortorella did not wear a suit this season in Philadelphia. I think he was the only coach that did that.
That's it. There's no rule. They all it's an unwritten rule among all of them. We're gonna wear suits even though there's not a dress code.
I guess so, because Tortorella was the only person that didn't do it this season.
But you're our hockey expert. Wouldn't you know if there were a dress code or not
like
a dress
a uniform
code?
dress code.
A dress code for coaches.
I mean,
in the National Hockey League.
There's about to be for basketball coaches. There's going to be again, and there used to be. You're tired, Chris. You're
My
worn.
legs hurt.
You're worn out. Okay, you lasted 2.5 minutes doing what Bernie
That's
does.
how I roll.
This is why Bernie's a Hall of Famer. You lasted 2.5 minutes doing what Bernie has done for decades.
I mean, he does it in small increments, though. He doesn't do it for 5 minutes
They're
straight.
not small. What I know of Bernie, nothing about that area is small.
Huh.
What do you know about Bernie?
Well, I like costumes, as you know. I like costumes, as you know.
Yeah.
I was surprised to hear Billy come at the expertise of Roy Bellamy because Jeremy got to watch the game with Roy Bellamy last night, and it was like a tutorial. You would not know from Roy's Twitter that you could do a lot of learning about hockey by just sitting next to Roy.
Roy's Twitter often helps me also, honestly, because it's descriptive of what's actually going on in the game. But last night was incredible for me because I was sitting next to Roy in our Meadowlark media seats at the Panthers game, and he was just through speaking, maybe to himself. I'm not even sure he was really speaking to me, but talking about the game, I felt more locked in and understanding everything about the approach, the rules than I ever have. And I've been following, obviously, the Panthers for the last several years professionally. Roy made me feel like a more informed hockey fan.
It's why one day he will have a picture and his name on a wall there celebrating his legendary status covering the Panthers since their inception.
Right next to Bill Lindsay.
Roy's Twitter account is great. Like if the ESPN app goes down and you can't watch the game, you have no idea what's going on. Roy will like tweet play-by-play of what's happening in the Panthers game, and it's all fact-based.
All right, there is a source of contention here. Let's discuss this now. I want to discuss this because
Thank
Roy,
you, Dan.
yes, because Stugotz and I yesterday were having a conversation with Roy because I would argue that this team of people, our show, is mean to Roy's Twitter account.
No, falsehoods.
Roy. Is this show, yes or no? You can say sure again if you want. Yes or no, this show is mean to your Twitter account?
Sure. I mean, I'm not very happy with how people are displaying. I mean, Magic Johnson of hockey is not exactly why I would respond to my Twitter account. I mean, I'm telling you the information that you need to know in real time.
But it is very fact-based, and I would say it's probably a bit different than what Jeremy is learning sitting next to you, but he's saying that he's also learning from your Twitter account.
Most of the times when you're compared to Magic Johnson, it's a great thing.
Not in this situation.
Just not Twitter.
No.
The only spot, really.
I've given my opinion during the games as well. I mean, I guess some of y'all have missed it.
It gets lost because your Twitter account turns into essentially a game log.
Yeah, yes, exactly. It does get lost within that, yes.
Don't change a thing, Roy.
I agree with him.
Yes,
Don't change a thing.
right, yeah.
There was last year when I was covering the Stanley Cup final, I was trying to support Roy by retweeting everything that he tweeted, and it was great engagement. So people love it.
Yeah, he copied everything I said and posted it under his account, basically. So,
Retweeted.
Yeah. I mean, that's not exactly retweeting. That's copying and pasting, and
Retweeted.
Posting under your name is not retweeting. It's just tweeting.
Thanks, Sebastian. Sebastian gets it.
That's Meadowlark consultant Billy Gill, ladies and gentlemen, always helping everybody. Just retweeting Roy because he loves him so much and wants to be a supportive
Of course,
teammate.
exactly right.
Consulting,
Sebastian
Dan.
gets it.
It wasn't retweeting. It was just tweeting.
How's it going, Bernie?
The mascots aren't allowed to speak, Billy. Go sit in the penalty box.
What?
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
Just go
Trying
sit
to
in
include people, trying to support my teammates
for
yet again,
not helping
getting
the show.
punished.
You were actively asking a question to produce dead air, Billy. Not helpful.
No, it's
he can't talk. He's not allowed to
How
talk.
do you know?
He'll get fired. I tried to talk to him before the show.
Well,
Why would
bring
you
up
try
something.
and talk to him? I told you they can't talk.
Hold on a second. So I'm getting kicked out for doing exactly what you did.
Outside.
Outside. Oh,
Dead air.
Middle finger.
Dead air does not hurt the show if the show's not on the air, Meadowlark consultant.
It's possible that Bernie and Sebastian have lots of things to say. We just don't ask the right questions.
Bernie, Sebastian, go sit with Billy in the penalty box.
Wow. They don't deserve
Wow.
These are Hall of Famers everywhere. Soon to be Hall of Famers that you're kicking out of the studio.
Three Hall of Famers.
Take the dead air
Punishment king,
outside.
too.
Not a penalty. I mean,
It is. I've accidentally rewarded him.
You gave him a
Damn
gift.
it, the inside man got me again. I gave him a gift. He gets to go sit outside, not work, wreck the show, and enjoy the dead air out there with them because the mascots aren't allowed to talk. And it's a maximum asshole move on a show we're doing together. Out, Bernie.
Oh, man.
All three of you, go sit in the penalty box.
catching a stray.
It's Billy's fault. All three of you go sit crowded in a crowded penalty box. I also want, by the way, I'd like some imaging. I meant to send this last night to the group. I want some imaging that has a whistle blowing and a being sent to the penalty box. When it's Jeremy, I want 2 minutes high shticking and stuff like that.
I like that.
I want jokes in the penalty box with these clowns. We have mobilized all 45 Meadowlark employees, including the ones in New York, as part of this WFART investigation. Fred Fred Katz will join us shortly, but we've also reached out, it's early yet, to 5 other beat writers who cover the Knicks, and we're going to reach out to all of them to see if we can find out who the farter was that won Game 5. But 2 claim of the Knicks writers, 2 claim to have no idea who the mysterious motivational farter is, and one of them, Christian Winfield of the Daily News, he was willing to put his name on this report. He told us exclusively that the farter, quote, could be, end quote, a rotation player. So we will get you more information as it becomes available.
Was it Josh Fart?
Go sit in the penalty box for a little while.
Pretty good. Contextually, I think he was covered.
Really? Is he going to do Isaiah Fartenstein?
That was next, but you kicked him out before he could. You workshopped it. I was proud of him.
You were proud of that? He's chosen bad jokes.
No, like that. The dad jokes are fine. The bad dad jokes are fine if you have the proper framework. It's just sometimes he just rams it in there.
Chris Cody, do you have the imaging that I would like that would send him away for 2 minutes for high shticking? No? Okay, let's do that, please, because that's something I'd like. I'd like the whistle and someone sends him away for an assortment of hockey infractions. But we're going to, this story, we're going to get more on this story because I do think the fart's the original joke. I don't have a better one that would just be easy, wordlessly understood, even though Mike says just point at someone's chest and then run a finger up to their nose. I don't think that's a joke. I don't think that's the original joke.
Well, there's a difference between a gag and a joke.
Right, that's a gag.
Well, then a joke has to be verbal.
Right.
Yeah, okay. But is a fart verbal?
It has to be noisy. Does it have to be verbal or just audio?
Now we're playing a little fast and loose with the rules right here.
Are we? I think
it has to be a sonic experience to be a joke.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you know the difference between a gag and a joke? Because I do not. As my punishment, Lucy, for having what you called a terrible take, and I think I want to empower you more here to just get little prizes from correcting me in a way that embarrasses me. So,
like money?
No, like the ability to talk about the things that you want to talk about, like Wicked, which I don't want to talk about. And
Jeremy's gonna die.
I don't want to talk about Wicked.
Well, that's
I just
Jeremy's
want the
gonna.
See, no. 2 more minutes for high shticking. No, an extra 2 minutes for high shticking.
Don't do that to the kid, man. He does good work.
I understand, but this is not a reward for Jeremy. Jeremy's has got to be a punishment, and him having to sit out Lucy talking about Wicked when I don't want to talk about Wicked is a punishment. It's a good punishment for high shticking.
This is so awkward, but I don't care about Wicked, and I didn't watch the trailer, and I don't care at all. So can I have the money?
I thought there was no money offered to you. I thought that you and Jeremy were dying to talk about Wicked. It's only Jeremy who wants to talk about Wicked.
Talk on a day that Jess and Jeremy can't actually participate.
I don't care about Wicked, the movie that's coming out. I'm not a big Ariana Grande fan. She's lost me recently. But what I do care about is this one specific viral video.
Hold on. This is my favorite. Hold on. Her sister was a witch, right? And what was her sister? A princess. The Wicked Witch of the East, bro. I'm going to stop him. You're going to look at me and you're going to tell me that I'm wrong? Am I wrong? It's my favorite. She wore a crown and she came down in a bubble, dog. I'm not fighting with you. Grow up, bro. Grow up.
All-timer. Legendary.
It's great.
That was actually Joe Burrow.
Oh, my God. Speaking of football, schedule release day was yesterday, and it was fairly funny to me as someone who doesn't care about that to watch the amount of noise and buzz because the marketing campaigns for these schedules are so good. Football is now making art. When they don't have anything, they put it in front of you and it gathers up and takes the media stream with it. And I guess the Chargers did the best job is what I can gather from people who are watching all of these and are just amazed at how creative people are. The Titans were really funny. But here's what the best part of it is to me. It was so fun watching everybody love their creative football yesterday, and I feel like after watching all of that, nobody knows where anyone's actually playing. That all of the stuff was so creative that the games are incidental, the schedule's incidental. We're just enjoying the Chargers being creative on social media.
Yeah, all last night I just sat and watched video after video, and I was like, these are so hilarious. They're so creative. Like, this seems like such a fun job. And then I was like, wait, I don't know who anybody is playing. Outside of their divisional matchups, no clue, but I don't really care. I think it's like a fun, engaging way to like let creatives do creative things, and the Chargers did such a great job doing like a Sims version of the schedule release, and the Commanders did like a is it cake or not? The Cowboys did a FaceTime video. They all did so wonderful.
It would have been funny if some team just went old school and just released the schedule. Just like an old cutout, just all the games.
Here it is.
Here it is.
Oh, a schedule magnet.
The Packers, right? The Packers should have just put out a magnet with just a magnet with 17 names on it.
I enjoy the Chiefs hydraulic press because I follow a bunch of hydraulic presses on Instagram.
Did the Chargers win the day, though?
Yeah, the Chargers.
By trolling Harrison Butker.
They
that was my
usually
favorite part.
win the day. They have like the best social media team. If you're not following them, you really should. They're super creative. They do great stuff. So they finished their video with like the actual schedule, and they did like a Sims version of Harrison Butker in the kitchen where he belongs.
Baking a pie? Is he baking a pie there?
Yeah,
That's where a man's place is, the
cherry
kitchen.
pie, actually.
Oh, cherry
His
pie.
life didn't start till then.
Who's fighting Zion Williamson here? Is that Mike Tannenbaum? Why is Mike Tannenbaum fighting Zion Williamson there? I don't understand what that video is. Welcome back, Jeremy. I'm sorry you missed the Wicked talk. It was a glorious time.
Looks like he got a good Mike Tannenbaum.
Does look like a dark version of Mike Tannenbaum.
That man was black, yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Yes. To
looks
me, it's
like
not
Mike
giving Mike
Tannenbaum.
Tannenbaum.
His
To me,
face structure, I kind of see what Dan is doing, like with the shape of his face.
I
but-
don't, because that is a black man.
It looks like, hey, man, you've told me that Troy Aikman looks like Jay-Z.
Well, the internet told us that, and they nailed that one.
Okay.
I just don't
I've
see
nailed
this
one. Don't
This
tell
is-
me I
this
didn't
is the
nail
next
this
of
one.
that?
This is that. Yes, this is. I'm trying to do the recreation of the Troy Aikman looks like Jay-Z with Mike Tannenbaum. That is correct.
I don't see it.
Well, okay. I'm not going to argue.
That
the
also doesn't
hairline.
look like Zion,
It's the hairline.
to be fair.
It's a skinny. Those arms are very skinny on Zion.
And there's an awkward photo.
Fred Katz, it's not awkward. That's the photo I was talking about. Fred Katz is going to join us here a little bit to find out what it is that's going on in the Knicks locker room. But, Jeremy, go ahead and have at it. You missed out on the Wicked talk. I should have sent you out again for a hat trick of bad jokes. But what is it that you had to supplement us on Wicked on? I don't know why I'm rewarding you.
Truthfully, it was that viral video. She wore a crown and she came down in a bubble, dog. It's the best viral video that's ever existed. But the Wicked trailer, the thing that's crazy is it's the first of these movie musicals in a while to actually let you know it's a musical, because Mean Girls and Wonka were hiding that from you. They were stifling it.
I'm just learning Wonka was a
That's what I'm telling you. You didn't know it because you only saw the previews.
Yeah.
And Mean Girls. Mean Girls, also a musical.
I knew that about Mean Girls, but Wonka, whew.
Lucy didn't know either.
I
This
didn't
is
know
news
Wonka.
to us.
I knew Mean Girls, and I only knew Mean Girls because I kept seeing TikToks of people walking out the theater because they didn't realize it was a musical, and they were very disappointed with the product.
Exactly. But Wicked, the part that's going to make fans that actually see it upset, the actual fans of the musical, is that they're making it a two-parter. So the climactic moment right before the intermission, when the movie really gets going, is just going to be the end of the movie, and there's going to be a credit that says Wicked Part 1, and everyone is going to be devastated. The same way that the first Dune was really, really boring.
Put it on the poll. Are you going to be devastated when Wicked just sets up a sequel?
If you see it, you're going to be upset.
Let's get some more B-roll out there on just schedule release stuff, because I know we have some audio here.
The comment section is telling us that might be Stephen A. Smith pictured with Zion Williamson and not Mike Tannenbaum. In your defense, to me, it looks more like Mike Tannenbaum than Stephen A. Smith, outside of like one pretty big thing.
I am telling you, and I don't know why you guys are objecting to this. Not only do I see it clearly.
I'm with Dan, honestly. Like the shape of his face, the hairline, I'm with you, but he's black.
I understand that.
You can't bury that lead.
I don't see color. Never have.
Also, contextually, why is Mike Tannenbaum with Zion Williamson?
And Zion seems like afraid.
Yeah, that would be why it's Stephen A. Smith.
Wait, I want to be clear on something here. I did go for the joke with Mike Tannenbaum because I didn't see a scenario in which Mike Tannenbaum would be opposite Zion Williamson and yelling at him. The reason that I thought that joke was funny is because, not what you think it is, just because of how much it looks like Mike Tannenbaum, while it couldn't possibly be Mike Tannenbaum.
Yeah, because of one big thing.
That's the role they're asking him to play.
Okay, well, that's complicated. But to me, it's the eyebrows. If you can get past, again, the one big thing.
There's a little Ruffalo in there, too.
Okay, now we're talking. And he's such a good actor, he can pull it off.
It's the same family of stuff. It is. You're not going to convince me otherwise. What else do we have, though, in terms of B-roll off the scheduling? Because the Steelers did some stuff that has audio in it, but it was just Jeremy jokes. It was just bad joke.
Let's not do that.
Aaron Rodgers with an alien.
We shouldn't do the Steelers
By the
stuff,
way,
right?
I don't believe him. I think he watches porn.
He definitely does.
The quickest way to convince me that you watch porn is by saying you don't watch porn.
Put that on the poll, Juju. We are right in the center of our investigation here of everything that's happening with the New York Knicks. We have now reached out to 5 Knicks beat writers about the motivational fart that won Game 5. Christian Winfield of the Daily News tells us exclusively that the farter, quote, could be a rotation player. We have Steve Popper of Newsday telling us simply, you'll have to check with Fred. And now we're reaching out to the Knicks for official comment, but now we have found Fred Katz. And Fred Katz is of The Athletic. On Saturdays, he hosts the Knicks podcast, Katz and Shoot, twice a week. And he broke this story. Thank you. Thank you very much. He broke this story. Take me through the details of your reporting, how you reported it, what level of shame you had in reporting it, the status of journalism that you reported it.
You know, Dan, you go to journalism school and you study everything there is to be studied, right? And you have to learn everything that's textbook, and you learn ethics, and you learn the history of journalism and mistakes that other people made and ways that people handle tricky situations and how to report in war zones and all that. And you never go over whether a fart is off the record, on the record, or on background. And so it's really something you have to figure out in the moment. It's a trying situation, but I'm really glad it got us here.
Did you
guys are doing due diligence here?
Did you guys get due diligence? There's so many bad jokes here. Can you did you actually choose to talk to anybody, reach out to an editor to decide whether something like that is off or on the record? And furthermore, you're protecting who it is that did that. And so I think you're treating it there as if it were off the record, and I don't think it should be.
I'm treating it as on background. I'm treating the culprit to be a not necessary part of the story to share.
Starter or rotation player?
I'm not even going to go that far.
No, that's still protecting your source. Listen to me.
There are reports out there that it might be a rotation player.
That's right. Could be. Look,
can you confirm earlier
you
reports?
have to listen. I'm not going to do this with you unless you get me at least slightly closer. I want to change or push up against whatever the ethics are of this, because now you've reported it. And you're doing it on background, but you didn't get permission to report it, okay? You reported it anyway. And so you're denying us this information, but you're responsible. If you're going to come out here, you choose what you want it to be. Get us a little closer to the truth, Fred. I'm wasting a lot of money and time investigating your big story.
And graphics.
All right, here's what I'll tell you, Dan. As a reporter, and you know this, you go in the locker room and there is a certain element
Smell.
of... That's true as well. Honestly, there was none. It was very loud, and that was
silent
about
but
it.
violent.
No, the opposite. It was loud but proud is really what it was.
But also not. You're saying no smell. It was just audio.
It was purely audio. As a matter of fact, when it happened, it strung along for, I would say, a lot longer than one might expect for a fart of that volume and in that context.
Well, you reported it was epic. Okay, I don't know how you arrived. Okay?
Could this have been a squeaky door?
For length and for volume is exactly why. And a few players looked over. It actually didn't get a reaction audibly at all. It got pure silence and a look over to that one player, and that one player looked around as if he was being inconspicuous and said with a completely straight face, "Something's up with the pipes in here."
No.
And that got the huge laugh.
No, okay, so it wasn't the fart. Wait a minute. All right, so we are now getting now we're getting more important details. It was not the fart that cut the tension. It was the lie. And it was the
lie.
It was the lie.
It was the lie. And I am pretty confident the lie was said tongue in cheek, because it was really the entire sequence that really did it. And I wouldn't say there was a ton of tension to begin with. However, if there was any tension before that, I think it all evaporated.
All right,
there.
can I get some help from the room, okay? Because I'd like to interrogate our journalist. He likes being the journalist. He's broken the big story. He gets the big attention today for it. But I would like to ask him questions that he is comfortable answering, that doesn't betray his source, doesn't break the rules of the ethics of the locker room, but get us slightly closer to being able to sniff around who this might be than we presently are.
What side of the locker room did this come from? Yeah.
What side of the locker room?
Yes.
This came from a locker room, a locker somewhat centered somewhat in the middle. Somewhat in the middle.
Okay.
So it could be one of the better players, because they're not going to put the best players, I feel like, are in the middle.
I don't know enough about it.
Yeah, you guys asked a question there that doesn't
No,
get us,
but what I'm doing right now is
I don't think that really helps you there.
I'm Googling the locker room. I can maybe, depending on locker room placement, I can eliminate some guys.
But you've got the investigator here, and all you're doing is creating more investigation for yourself. He goes into the locker room.
I mean, it's very clear he's not going to give us what we want.
No, I understand that, but your question didn't get us any closer to an answer.
It will once I get the picture of what it looks like.
No, but the audience needs an answer to this. Can I get some help from the room here on... it is a player who has had minutes in this series.
It is a player who has had minutes in this series. I will give you that.
See, now we're closer.
It is a player who has had minutes in this series. I can give you that.
How many rebounds?
I can tell you that.
No, you can't do that. That's too close to it. You guys don't know how to play this game.
Has this player averaged more or less than 25 minutes per game for the Knicks in this postseason?
Well, it's got to be less. It's got to be less.
He's guessing. Again, an epic fart reported in the Knicks locker room, an epic fart of leadership.
But is he throwing that out there because maybe this player was averaging more than 25 minutes per game, but then got hurt and is no longer playing, and he's taking the 0 minutes into account? These are the questions we have to ask ourselves.
Okay, not really out loud, though. Those are the questions we should keep to ourselves as we get closer to the truth here.
I'm just looking for looks on his face as we throw this out
for clues. I understand. We are trying to get to the bottom of this. Lucy, do you have any questions that you think will get us closer to the truth?
No, but I just have a question in general. Don't you think that if this fart brought the locker room together, then the player would be proud of this fart and want their identity out there to get MVP?
It's a big win.
It's a great point. It is a fantastic point. He may very well. However, I think I would have to check in with that player first before I publicly embarrassed him.
Message them right now and say, "Can I tell everyone about your fart?"
That's right. Let's
ask.
Okay,
Worst you can do is say no.
Would you describe the fart as precious?
There was actually a precious fart moment earlier this year.
What?
All right, we can eliminate him from this one.
that I feel confident in saying, because that one got some play on Nick's Twitter.
Hartenstein.
So there was.
Hartenstein does have a centrally located locker.
Precious, what was the previous fart story with Precious, please?
It was he let one go during a scrum, and that one got out and made its way onto the internet amongst. So Nick's farting is becoming a thing.
If we have one final show guess, can you confirm or deny? Because you've given us a lot of sleuthing to do, and I think we're close to having a formal guess.
I don't think he's going to tell us if we have a formal
I can
guess.
give you the guess. I can't confirm it. You can try to read it from my facial expression. I will always protect the farter. That I think is rule number 1 of journalism at this point.
Okay.
Always protect it.
All right. Given the jersey number, where the fart location was, Jeremy asked some really good questions. Jeremy, you want to present our guess?
Hold on. Before you do that, I'm getting texts here from other sources telling me, I don't know what, I can't talk to you guys directly, that it's Burks. That it's Burks is what I'm getting here just on my texts immediately. So if that's what you guys want to offer as our official guess, be careful.
That wasn't going to be our guess, so now we might have to do some more investigating because we
did blink a lot when Dan said that.
It's interesting. We were putting together the combination of how many minutes per game was this player playing, where was the location in the locker room. If we're talking about a long and powerful fart, we're thinking maybe a big man.
Alec Burks does not have a centrally located locker.
Okay. Bad information I'm getting.
I have the layout of the locker room.
But I don't, Jeremy, I don't know what you're doing. You cannot profile these things based on size.
We've had a lot of context clues here.
Yeah.
But Jeremy's
I
saying...
don't think size matters at all.
I think
height has no correlation.
Yeah. Fiber does.
Height has absolutely no correlation.
What is our guess?
Mitchell Robinson.
He smirked. He pursed his lips.
Well, I can tell you this. That's a poor guess because Mitchell Robinson is currently recovering from surgery.
Well,
So
right.
it's not
It's
even
the
around.
Knicks
And was
locker.
not
around.
was not
Not
around.
around at all.
A lot of medicine in his
Great,
system.
great.
Looking at
What
the
a
locker room.
Guess by us is a
That's
farty
the
guess.
worst. That's the worst guess could have gone.
My God.
McBride.
That's the one
that's
that
what-
I can confirm.
That's
it was,
what
it
all
was
of our
not him.
investigation produced. Like, look at that. Look at.
Deuce McBride.
All right. You know what? You go sit in the penalty box. Fred, you get out
telling
of
you,
here.
that's it.
Thank you for your reporting. 2 minutes for high shticking. Get out of here. Thank you.
I love you guys having me on. I love you guys for looking into this. You guys are the best show.
Thank you, sir. The Athletic NBA show on Saturdays. He hosts the Knicks podcast, Katz and Shoot, twice a week. What were the rejected names before Katz and Shoot? What finished in second place?
Katz on Broadway was one that was put out there, but that was honestly even cornier. I thought that was even cornier than Katz and Shoot.
Jeremy loves it. Look at him.
I do.
Over there,
I love
just
it.
Grinning maniacally.
This
Thank
is the
you.
best.
Thank you, Fred. I'm just ashamed of our group. I think our audience is disappointed on our behalf that the community wanted to make a good guess there, and you guys trying to do the
tried,
research
man.
come up with Mitchell Robinson.
This guy's treating it like Watergate.
He's
What
not
do you
even
want me to
around
do?
the team.
R.
Why are you still here? Get out of here? Why are you still here? You need to get out of here.
Who are you talking to?
I don't
Katz
watch
or
it.
Cody?
Both of you. Get Katz out of here. Get Chris Cody out of here. Get everybody out of here because I'm annoyed. How can Mitchell Robinson be our guest? He's not
has
around.
locker room access. He's got a centrally
He's
located.
not
It's in
around
New
the team. The guy
It was McBride.
I know that.
It was McBride.
He was
Admit it,
willing
Katz.
to
You
be
tried to
on.
guess Alec
He
Burks.
was
It was going to be Alec Burks before, but you took the Alec Burks guess. You took our Alec Burks guess.
No, I threw it to you.
Yeah, because you took our guess
had a
before.
worse guess
That's not how you
than
set up our
mine.
guess. By taking our guess.
God, I hate you guys.
R.
Here.
Let's get Chris ready for his 18. He looks like he's ready to party. Open up the Cuervo Club. Who's the first sound in the Cuervo Club?
Oh, and Mike, you know I almost called you Dan. It's brought to you by Cuervo. Now's a good time to enjoy the tequila that invented tequila. First sound in the club is a very good one. My favorite sound of the week.
What is that? Oh, that is the chest compression from 911 Lone Star. I wish I had the video accompaniment for that. All right, surprise. Did not have that.
R.I.P.
Who else is in the Cuervo Club?
I think it will take a change at the top for the Heat to get another ring.
Yeah, I was reflecting upon that, where the much maligned former president of the Miami Marlins decided he would. I was happy that he had conviction and he had a take. That's what we have David Sampson on, because he has takes.
That's what Fox News said about my dad's Greg Doyle take. Even they were like, it's a take. They didn't attach themselves to it, but they're like, it's a take.
It's a take. By the way, I don't think we ever corrected on the air that Greg Doyle is actually writing about the Indiana Fever. He's just not allowed to attend games, which I actually think is a win for everybody.
It's Greg Cody's dream.
Yeah, we told Dan, he's like, so he's getting rewarded? Who else is in the Cuervo Club? The chest compression is still in the club.
The Nittany Lion.
Well, it's sounded like me trying to say regenerate.
Hey, New
today.
England Patriots.
Yeah.
Where the is New England?
Yeah. That was just a couple hours ago. Was it a bad week for the Cuervo Club? Bad week?
Am I on an actual show right now, or my PR guy's playing a prank?
I rewatched that. Billy, I think, got through to Patton Oswalt. I think there's a friendship budding right there.
He loved it.
Isospeda.
Context, please.
It was a Twitter handle, Isospida.
Isospeda.
And that's how Dan read it.
Isospeda.
All right.
Is that Josh Hart?
Alec Burks. Alec Burks should have been the guess. Any last sounds for the Cuervo Club?
Nope.
Chest compression?